Adolescents and Parents, Communication Problems. Introduction. The survey studies a total of 40 participants for this study, 20 men and 20 women. The subjects were split evenly between the two experimental conditions used in the study. Condition A, children between 12 to 15 are free with their parents about anything and have open line of communication, 20 participants, while conditioning children aged between 12 to 16 talk to their parents but lack the open line to communicate anything, 20 participants. The age range of the study participants was restricted to 12 to 16 years old, with the majority of them being middle schoolers. The participants were randomly selected from the whole population of the neighborhood across my street from the families that volunteered. The selection process was dictated by age and the type of communication with parents. Upon completing the study, the participants were offered snacks of their choice. The chosen participants presented to the general public. To avoid bias and erroneous data collection, the research was limited and confined to persons with hearing and visual impairments. The participants were divided into two groups, each with an equal number of members, those who had open communication channels and those who did not have open communication channels. The children were divided into groups depending on how they communicated with their parents. Upon completing the study, the participants were offered snacks of their choice. Apparatus/materials subsection. The research utilized a timer. Procedure subsection. The study followed a correlational study design. When it came to the research factors, correlational research was the greatest option since it focuses on the connection between two variables. A correlational research allows for simple variable comparison and produces precise and quantitative data. The participants were given questionnaire forms to fill their responses. They were timed, and after 20 minutes, all the forms were collected. Any form with blanks or unanswered questions was considered incomplete for the sake of accuracy. The independent variables were open communication and how it affects the type of discussion a child has with the parents. The participants were required to define their relationship with their parents, how it affects their communication, and if they can freely communicate anything to their parents. The research was also confined to families that do believe they have issues of communication with their children. This made it possible to single out the most appropriate subjects for the research. Results. From the research, it is evident that most children between the ages of 12 to 16 do not have open communication with their parents. At this age group is growing, and they keep their distance from their parents since they feel they are mature enough to make their own decisions. They do not wish to frighten or overwhelm them. Teenagers are very wise, even when it appears as though they are not paying attention, and are aware when their parents have reached their limit. They do not wish to add anything further to their plate, so they either hold things within or act out in destructive ways. This develops to the point that, even when they face weighty issues or want immediate assistance, they cannot talk freely and open themselves to their parents. According to the study, most of these children avoid communicating with their parents out of fear of their parents being angry. Teens are aware of the kind of conduct their parents would not accept, and they do not wish to be the ones to inform their parents that they did anything they did not approve of or agree with. Conclusion. Several children between the ages of 12 and 16 feel like there is a gap between them and their parents. This significantly affects how they communicate. Several children believe this gap is responsible for the lack of freedom to have open communication with their parents where the children can tell their parents anything that disturbs them. Children between this age have to be guided on how they can have open communication with their parents without fear.